The president may have imposed a 90-day pause on many of his new tariffs, but he did not pause the ones on China. In fact, he pushed them even higher. And those triple-digit tariffs are already starting to take a toll on the thousands of U.S. businesses that import goods from America's third largest trading partner.
So we're very happy with the way the country's running.
Today's market slide started while President Trump was meeting with his cabinet, and just after the White House clarified that its new tariff rate on most Chinese goods is now an unprecedented 145%.
I think that we'll end up working out something that's very good for both countries. I look forward to it.
But no talks are currently scheduled. For now, the tariff will get passed on almost entirely to American businesses and customers. And 73% of America's smartphones, 78% of our laptops, and 77% of our toys come from China.
China is the source of the raw materials for really the entire handbag industry.
Sarah Wells started her business designing bags for new moms 13 years ago.
There was never any rhyme or reason to Donald Trump's tariff plan, if we can even call it that. It was all about Donald Trump saying what is apparently his favorite word and pretending like he's this big, strong, tough guy intimidating the rest of the world. But it's the rest of the world that has intimidated Donald Trump very clearly. It's why he so quickly ended his tariff plan and why he is now caving to China. And one of the most embarrassing admissions of defeat we have ever seen from Donald Trump that we are going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, it goes a long way. And it really does mean a lot to me. Now it has been the position of the administration that there's no way that they're caving, even going as far as to say China wants to make a deal with them. So before we get into this breaking news story, I want to hear the lie of Carolyn Levitt that just got debunked.
Thanks, Caroline. President Trump has said China wants to make a deal on tariffs. The president says he has a great relationship with Chinese President Xi. He's willing to speak with him directly. Why doesn't the president just pick up the phone and get this ball going?
All of the things the president just said are true. The president, as I said from the podium just a few days ago when I was up here, would be gracious if China intends to make a deal with the United States. If China continues to retaliate, it's not good for China. The United States of America is the strongest, best economy in the world, as evidenced by the more than 75 countries who have called the administration immediately to cut good deals. So the president wants to do what's right for the American people. He wants to see fair trade practices around the globe, and that's his intention and his goal.
So is he waiting for China to make the first move here?
I'm not going to comment on communications that are happening or may not be happening, or either way. We'll leave it to our national security team to get these discussions underway. And as always, in the effort of transparency, we will provide updates moving forward, but the president has made it very clear he's open to a deal with China.
So Carolyn Levitt would have you believe that it was China knocking down the door to reach out to the United States to beg and please, oh Mr. Trump, oh dear leader, please save us your tariffs. They've inflicted so much pain. How will we ever recover? But of course, that was not going to be the case, especially because no one believed Donald Trump's line of B's that he would actually hold steady with this plan, if we can again even call it that. And it's why Jessica Tarlow actually predicted what happened this morning, yesterday in a clip I want to check out right here.
Leverage to take on Donald Trump?
Isn't the art of the deal that's just an opening gambit, right? We'll ease our way into that.
Yeah.
I think that China knows that there are tens of millions of Americans that own small businesses that rely on goods from China that are going to be completely bankrupted by these tariffs. And that's really what this is about. They can say what they want about Hollywood, but that's what it's going to come down to, that people need to be able to go, to Walmart and get the things that they want. And that's what the CEO of Walmart is saying. That's what people like Ken Langone is saying, calling what Trump's doing BS. This is someone who's a strong supporter of his. Ken Griffin as well. I was struck by what Larry Fink said this morning on CNBC. This is the head of BlackRock. The U.S. post-World War II was a global stabilizer. We are now a global destabilizer. Yes, I do believe we're probably starting, if not already, in a recession. This is not a pandemic. This is not a financial crisis. This is something we've created. And that's the trend line here, that smart people who create jobs, who are really rich, who have done well, who Donald Trump respects, know that what he is doing is about his own fantasies and not about the realities of the economics here. The dollar is weakening. People are dumping U.S. assets. They don't think that we're a good bet. And the American public, the lower classes that Scott Bessent is so concerned with, are losing their minds. Consumer sentiment dropped to its second lowest level since 1952 when they started recording this. Do you think that's a good thing, that the American public, who need to be able to get up and go to the grocery store and get that flat screen TV,
right, if
that's what they want?
Do you think the last 40 years of trade have been good?
Yeah, they have been good.
For the middle class. Have it been good for the middle class, Jessica?
If you're talking specifically about protectionist policies,
about jobs
auto
and
manufacturers,
factories and honor in the Rust Belt and across the country.
What's more
where
important
people got hammered by cheap
Jesse,
Chinese
why
goods
are there
and taken
tens
advantage
of thousands of manufacturing jobs available? Because people don't want them. That's what folks who are smart about this are saying. We can't have a manufacturing economy. We don't have the workers for it. We don't have the interest in it.
She's talking about a different type of manufacturing. We're not talking about T-shirts. We're talking about aerospace. We're talking about steel. We're talking about automobiles. We're talking about robotics and AI. Those are the types of high-tech jobs.
The American economy relies on China, and there are so many small businesses that use their products. This idea that somehow in the course of a couple of days we'd be able to shift all of our manufacturing or it wouldn't have some impact on our economy just goes to show how out of touch Donald Trump is. And it's not just the small things. It's not just the packaging. It's not just the products that may go into shipping that we don't really realize. Of course, it's the big stuff as well. And that's what Donald Trump just caved on. As we can see in this article right here, breaking Trump exempts phones, computers, and more from tariffs. Smartphones, computers, and other electronics will be exempt from President Donald Trump's steep China tariffs. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection revealed late on Friday night, Customs and Border Protection, which is in charge of collecting tariffs, announced in a new guidance that a number of products will be exempt from Trump's more than 100% tariff against China. Bloomberg was first to report the news on Saturday. Trump imposed tariffs against China in dozens of other countries earlier this month, leading to the stock market taking some major hits. Just days after his announcement, the president said that he would pause most of the tariffs amid negotiations for new trade deals. Some tariffs, though, remained in place, including against China. They responded by imposing their own steep tariffs against the United States. The new announcement on phones and computers being exempt from tariffs comes amidst concern that tech companies, including Apple, that rely on China would need to steeply increase their consumer prices to match new cost. According to CNBC, Apple had lost more than $600 billion in market value just days after Trump's tariff announcement. Other electronics are included in the new exemption, including semiconductors, solar cells, flash drives, memory cards, and more. The exemptions cover products moved into the United States since April 5th. The president said from the White House this week that China has ripped off the United States for years on trade deals. They have taken advantage for a long time, ripped us off, how people stood for it. Sitting my position is not believable, he said, adding that the escalating trade war will end up working out well, work out clearly. It has for China. Like, Donald Trump's leverage continues to evaporate if he ever had any. That's why I want to play that Jessica Tarlow clip. Where's the art of the deal here? I don't know what the art of the deal is. Donald Trump immediately cedes any crown he might have had when things get a little bit tough. So what this was, just his attempt to wipe out trillions of value in the stock market. It was this just an insider trading scheme that he wanted to like destroy the economy for a couple of days. And again, as I continue to come back to, it's important to remember that while MAGA wants to say, you know, after we lose 20% of the value of the stock market, oh, it's up 10%. What a huge win for tariffs. It's like, well, that's because he took the tariffs off, so that's not a huge win for tariffs, but also the value has not returned to the stock market. And people who liquidated their retirement funds against 20-30% penalties, they don't get that money back because we see an artificial bump because Donald Trump decides his plan is stupid and maybe he should pull back on it. Knowing a point. I continue to come to companies that have raised their prices already, which has been happening since January, and before they're not going to lower them. Because tariffs have gone away if they're getting people to pay these prices, they're going to continue to get people to pay these prices. We saw Elizabeth Warren talk about this on CNBC, that the tariffs that we saw previously on washing machines led to dryer seeing an increase in price because corporations that sell those products thought, hey, if they're paying more for the other one, they'll pay more for this. It is price gouging, and it will continue because of Donald Trump's stupid plan. People are being affected all across the country because of Donald Trump's stupidity. And we also see that with Social Security, which Rachel Mono did a great job breaking down in this report right here.
So we've been following what we can about what the Trump administration is doing to the Social Security Administration. We've also been following these anecdotal and journalistic reports about what's happening when real people are running into regular kinds of problems that they would usually sort out by contacting the agency. And it does feel like, anecdotally, again, it feels like things are in free fall. I wanted to just sort of gut check that with you as somebody who watches this agency closely.
Yeah, for 15 years, you know, I've said, you know, have confidence. Your checks are going to get into your hands. For 90 years, Social Security turns 90 this year. For 90 years, through war and peace, through boom and bust, through health and pandemic, not a single payment has been missed. Months after this billionaire gets in there, that's changed, Rachel. And I wish I had a better answer for people, but I don't. This is going to the end in checks not going out. The money that we have earned not getting into our hands. And I believe strongly that that's the point. The cuts they've made have no other rhyme or reason except to literally destroy the system.
We reported this week on the Attorney General's office in Arizona, led by Chris Mays, and now today on the Attorney General's office in Michigan, led by Dana Nessel, both setting up online, one-page, very simple web hubs, basically, individual forms online where people who are having trouble in those states accessing their Social Security benefits or contacting the agency, they can at least report it to their state Attorney General's office. So the Attorney General's office can document it so they can potentially act on that information, potentially so they can get those people some help. I feel like that's good news because somebody's trying and because they've got the resources of a government agency behind them and people can't fix these problems on their own. What else is happening to try to help people out, to try to remedy some of the failures that we're seeing because of what Trump's doing to this agency?
So the truth is that, unfortunately, people are going to have to take it upon themselves to protect themselves at this point. It's great that the attorneys general in Arizona and Michigan are doing something. But, you know, you've seen Republicans in Congress, they're complicit in this. They're allowing Elon Musk and Donald Trump to destroy the Social Security Administration. So we're advising people to make sure they have a hard copy of their benefit, their Social Security file. It says their wage history and, importantly, what their benefit is. Have a hard copy of that because we're not sure if the online, the digital, is going to be there after these Doge goons are done with their chainsawing. We also advise people to get in contact with the constituent services staff in their federal elected representatives' offices, both their senators and their representative. Now, this is the constituent services side. And get a phone number, get an email, let them know that you're worried about you or your loved one's benefits and want to be able to be in contact with them if a penny is missing, or if it's late, or if it doesn't show up at all. And most importantly, I think, is look for the most vulnerable in your community and in whatever network you're in, a church, a book group, whatever it is. Understand that Social Security is a system that relies on us. It's there for us, but it does care for the most vulnerable, like a 102-year-old, right? Or somebody who has faced a life-changing illness or injury and can no longer work due to disability. Make sure that
This is absolute insanity. This is insanity. That this is how Donald Trump's administration is treating everyone in America like they don't matter. This is how Donald Trump views everyone except his billionaire buddies. He'll chop it up in the White House, in the Oval Office, saying, look how many bills this guy made. He made 900 million today. Well, when your Social Security check doesn't go out, he doesn't really seem to care. That's the administration, and that's what we got to call out. We're going to on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.